Welcome back to the Old History Project YouTube channel. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please see the description below for links to my Facebook page and podcast. Welcome back. In one of my recent videos, I discussed Cherokee Lake and Dam and how it was made, and some of the communities that it took to the dark, murky depths. Today, I'd like to cover Douglas Lake and Dam and some French Broad and Nolichucky history. This is a deep subject, so let's dive right in. Mentions of a Tennessee Valley Authority go back to the 1930s when the government was trying to think of ways to help people escape the wrath of Mother Nature and the constant flooding of nearby rivers. Like most of the other dams in the Tennessee River Valley, Douglas was created to help drive the war effort during World War II and the sudden mass increase of needed energy from the Tennessee Valley area. This mass increase of energy was due to the much-needed expansion of the Alcoa plant in Blount County, which in 1941 had constructed the North plant, which would go on to cover 65 acres and employed nearly 12,000 people, as it was quickly realized how important aluminum was to an Air Force, especially one with a demand of 50,000 planes straight from the mouth of President Roosevelt. A 1946 Forbes magazine article stated that what won the war was air power based on aluminum and Alcoa. Almost in no time, the Manhattan Project was conceived, and when the Y-12 complex became operational, it came with an absurdly huge power demand, as by the time the plants were operational, they were using millions of kilowatts of TVA power to try and make uranium and plutonium go boom. By 1941, TVA would launch the crash construction of Cherokee and Douglas dams. Cherokee went up in 16 months, and Douglas went up in 12 months and 17 days, which at that time was a world record for projects of similar size. By the time the war came around, TVA had grown up and was a big boy now, and the Axis powers had no clue that the hills of Tennessee would be the ultimate secret weapon. As Chairman Arthur Morgan testified before Congress in 1935, that an adequate supply of electric energy comes pretty close to being a matter of national defense. And then, later on, the Federal Power Commission would declare that without TVA, the United States would have been in no position to fight in 1941. Who knows how different things could have been if TVA had never been created. Now don't leave yet. I'm just taking this time to thank the White Pine Historical Committee for keeping such a quality collection of pictures and for letting me use them. So, thank you guys. This is an awesome collection of pictures. Back to Douglas Lake Reservoir, it provides 513 miles of shoreline with about 30,000 acres of water surface. Douglas Lake Reservoir is fed by the Nolichucky River, which originates in western North Carolina at the highest peak east of Mount Mitchell and flows through Washington, Greene, Hamlin, Cocke, and Jefferson counties, with the French Broad River flowing out of Transylvania County, North Carolina, both of which have been known to Europeans since the time of Fernando de Soto, who came down the Nolichucky in the 1540s. TVA would begin buying up land that was in the surveyed flood zone in the late 1930s. Landowners were either bought and paid for their land, like in the following picture, which is from my great-grandmother's property in Hawkins County, or they were forced to move when the floodwaters came knocking at their door, and the stories of the latter are more common than you think. Even today, 80 and 90 years later, you'll find that some elderly people hold a certain level of distrust against TVA and their use of eminent domain, while some people still think that TVA put the sun in the sky for their contributions to the war effort, controlling river floods and making energy readily available and cheap. In the Douglas Lake Reservoir, evidence of prior settlement is pretty common. For instance, a trip down 25E through an area called Dutch Bottoms, and you'll see several old silos in the middle of the water. Now, to a youngin', that's super cool, but they're really just reminders of what was, only a really short time ago, rich farmland. The raising of the waters also forced the realignment of the Southern Railroad that crosses Leadville Road. The coal chute, shown here, has become somewhat of a local landmark and tourist attraction. When the lake is at winter pool, lots of buildings, bridges, and old road foundations become visible. In fact, downtown Danridge was almost condemned to be at the bottom of the lake. Having been incorporated in 1793, it was named for Martha Danridge, Washington, and when the dam was being built, at the urging of then First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, as well as the town fathers, petitioning her that they were the only town in the states named after the very first First Lady. A saddle dam was built shortly thereafter around Danridge to protect it. Other villages that were lost are the original Pleasant Hill, Tyrone, Rankin, and many old one-room schoolhouses and mills, such as this one, were lost as well. According to state archaeologist Alan Longmire, as well as various dated maps, including those that were drew by the Spanish and early English, there were several indigenous settlement sites that were inundated by the rising waters, some of them dating back farther than the woodland era. One of them was the native town of Chiaja, of which its existence has been debated among historians who have either been located in Jefferson County, near the town of Danridge, or somewhere near Chattanooga. Regardless, the town is referenced several times, namely in the diaries of Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto, where he visited it on his trip down the Nolichucky. De Soto describes that he was met with great hospitality from the Chiahans, who I've read were a Yuchi-speaking tribe. De Soto then wrote how his demand for porters and women made the Chiahans angry, and when the Spaniards woke up the next morning, the native people had abandoned the town and went upstream to an impenetrable island. The town of Chiaja is referenced also in other Spanish expeditions, like those from Juan Pardo. The town was supposedly located on Zimmerman's Island, which has only surfaced once since Douglas Lake was created. Who would have thought that the Spanish came right through our backyard 3 times? Nonetheless, this has been a really exciting video to make. So if you'd like to see me cover another dam and another reservoir in a similar fashion to this video, please comment down below. Oh, and while you're there, please like, share, and subscribe, and visit the Facebook page to learn more about Appalachian history. Thanks for watching.